It is my hope that we're going to connect very deeply on this in this video, on this topic. We're going to go really deep, and I think we're going to share something. I'm hoping you and I are going to share something that like an understanding, a thought, an idea, a process, a vision that few people ever really get to experience together or share with each other. So I'm hoping that you appreciate this. Please, I'm doing this for you, for people out there. I want this to be of benefit to you. So please let me know if it is. So here it is. Many enlightened beings who have experienced bliss on earth and inner peace and freedom from their suffering, and also expansive consciousness where they can understand people and things very deeply. These beings have said that the core of all suffering and of all negative thoughts and negative emotions is the I thought. The I thought, not the I thought, the I thought, like the letter I or the me thought. So the I thought. So what they're saying is that all the thoughts that you have on a day-to-day basis that are stressful and anxious and concerned and worried or afraid, and the negative emotions that accompany those thoughts, that all of those stem from the original, from the root I thought. The thought that we are, our projection of ourselves as an I. Okay, so let's go deep with this. Be here with me. Feel this with me. Do this with me. This is a video, it's a talk, it's also like a meditation. So if you're driving, please focus on your driving, and then give this time when you have time. So here I am. And now I am no longer seeing myself as an I or as an individual. I am just here, and I have no thought in this moment. No thought. Blank mind. Inner peace. Now, I remember I have to do something. I remember I have to eat. I remember I have to go work on this project. I remember I didn't say something to someone. So in that very moment, when I was in inner peace, what took me out of inner peace is I remembered or imagined or projected, right? Remember, to member something is to put it together. And I put it together again. I remembered it. So I remembered my I. So I literally projected in my mind's eye, I imagined this virtual, this imaginary version of me, right? With all of its agendas and priorities and beliefs and values and concerns and have-tos and need-tos and to-do lists. I recalled that. And then I identified with it. You hear that? I identified with it. So I recalled it, I identified with it, and I saw this mental image, this projection of myself as me. And then I assumed, took on all of that imaginary I's responsibilities. And then, of course, the mind sends those signals to the body and chemically releases the emotions of stress and anxiety associated with feeling like we have to do this, we have to do that we are an I in a world where we die, where we supposedly have pain and suffering and all these things, bad things that could happen, and this I that we need to keep safe. All of it begins with the I thought. If there is no I thought, if you sit and just be no I, recall no I, remember no I, remember no you, whatever your name is. There is no Dexter. There is no me. There is peace there, and there is calm there, and there's clarity there, and there's consciousness there, and there is awareness there, and there is silence there, and there is stillness there. And in all of that, stillness, silence, awareness, consciousness, inner peace, we can see so clearly. We step out of our highly biased, subjective, fearful, stress and survival modes and into consciousness, a space of understanding, of awareness, of expansion, when there's no I. And get this, the symbol I, that marking, like the letter I, that's the on, that's the symbol for on in binary, right? When you see a computer, you know, like you have the ones and zeros. One is on, zero is off. So what we're doing is we're turning on this imagination. And as soon as we turn that on, this imagination of ourselves, this image of ourselves, we're then trying so hard to protect that image. I is also the symbol for one. It's the symbol for one, right? It's a little vertical line, it's one. So it's like we're separating ourselves into a one discrete entity. So we're creating separation from everything else. A line is highly defined. And so then that defined line needs to be kept nice and straight, you know? Like a personality that is so defined. Oh, this is who I am. This is what I believe in. This is what I don't believe in. This is what's good. This is what I believe is good. This is what I believe is bad. This is what I'm afraid of. This is what I'm not afraid of. These are my values. These are my priorities. When people do this, that's really not okay with me. You see what I'm saying? Forgive me for my lightness. I'm just making fun of the ego, in a sense, lightly making fun of the ego that we all have. See, when there's no I, when there's zero, you know, we have a circle, and there is peace, there's inner peace, there's nothing to focus on, to get concerned with, because we recognize that everything is connected, just like in a circle. And that there is no separation, and that there is no imaginary I. And if you do this, you might feel your heart open. If you step into this space with me where there is no I right now, you might feel your heart open. You might feel a different form of consciousness. Usually the consciousness you're used to, or most people are used to, is a very mentalized consciousness, a very intellectualized consciousness, of thinking about ourselves. Well, thinking about ourselves is not being ourselves. So when you stop thinking about yourself like this, when you let go of that addiction that we've been conditioned into, that habit, and you step into the heart as not an I, then there's this like, whoa, you enter life like you've gone into it through a tunnel, and you've come out, and now it's like this vibrant world where you're present. You're in the present moment. There is no I thought to take you out of the present moment. So now we're going to take this one level deeper. Is there a metaphor that I can provide that can help you with this process? There's a couple. First, if you can begin to see all of your thoughts as emanations of the I thought. Emanations. Downstream results of the original I thought, right? So if you think, oh, what am I going to have for dinner? That's an emanation of the I that supposedly needs to eat something, and that it needs to be delicious. It starts with the I. an I thought about, oh, I don't have a partner and I need to be in a relationship. If you have that thought, it starts with an I that is supposedly lonely, that is supposedly not in a relationship, and that supposedly needs to be in a relationship in order to be safe and to have the life that it wants and to be happy. If there wasn't that projection of that I that needed those things, there would be peace. And let me tell you, if you were in that space of peace, you'd probably have make a lot of progress finding your relationship. If you have a concern about your business and you think, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet with my business, it starts with an I thought. Supposedly there is an I that is making the business run and that is somehow not having enough success, and that I needs a certain amount of money and things like that. If there wasn't that imagination of the I, that projection of the I, that abstraction from yourself, that you then need to protect and keep safe and make sure is successful, then you'd be able to see what is. You'd be able to be present with what is going on in your business, and creativity would come to you, creative solutions would come to you, and you wouldn't be hindered, held back, and limited by the stress of the I thought and trying to keep the I thought safe and trying to maintain the I thought and maintain it in the way that your I wants it to be, your I thought thinks it should be. I wonder if you're following me on this. I wonder if you're following how deep this goes. So all of these I thoughts, they interfere. They get in the way of clarity and consciousness. They're like layers and layers and layers that get in the way of us seeing things clearly. When there is no I thought, those layers fall away and we can see what is. So if you can imagine that everything you're thinking and feeling right now and at any moment is the effect, the downstream result of you imagining yourself to be an I. Imagining yourself to be an I in a world. And you can sort of visualize and see all of that as like this root ball, right? A root ball. And at the center of that root ball is the I thought. And the roots go out and they go out in so many places, right? And then the very tips of the roots are all the thoughts and feelings that you feel superficially in your conscious mind. And that root ball, it goes deep into your subconscious. And the goal, if you want to be conscious, if you want to experience more enlightenment, more inner peace, is to remove the root ball and all of its roots, to detach from it all. And what you're doing when you're doing this is you're looking at the very thing that you thought was your existence, at the very thing that you thought was you, at the very thing that you thought was your life, at the very thing that you thought was your world. The same you, the same imaginary you, world, life, that is where all of your suffering is. You're looking at all of that, including all of the emotions you feel, and allowing yourself to feel those emotions at the same time, taking it all in as one big emanation of the I thought, of the imagination of the I. And you're shifting your relationship to it. You're going from, this is who I am, and this is what's going on, and this is the world I live in, and I have these worries and these concerns, and you're going from that to, you're stepping back, and you're seeing all that now. You're observing it. Oh, that's who I thought I was. Look, there I was as that I thought, experiencing all of those things, all of that suffering, all of those supposed problems, and feeling all of those negative emotions. And I see that now from a distance. And here where I am, there's deep peace. There's deep peace because I'm not believing in any of these illusions and assumptions and imaginations and fears and projections of the I thought. I can actually see all those, and now, oh my gosh, finally there is some form of peace. and one metaphor I want to give you for this is, imagine that you're doing this like an astronaut. Imagine that you're an astronaut like out far away from Earth, and you can see the Earth as this beautiful little ball, blue and green, and you can see it from a distance, and that's your I thought. And that was the world you used to live in, the world of fear and suffering, of stress, of survival, of anxiety, of have tos and needs tos, and not good enoughs, and guilt and shame and suffering. And now you see all that now. And as you stand in this space that I'm describing, this more conscious space, this space will become so big. You'll grow you'll fill this space, and you will expand. Your consciousness will expand. And like, who was it? I think it's in the book I Am That by Nisargadatta. It's a very potent a book on consciousness that I don't recommend for everybody. That being said, this is helpful. He said, he swallowed the world. He swallowed it. He was talking, someone was asking him questions, and he said, you still, I'm paraphrasing, you still live in that world of illusion. I swallowed it all and never thought of it again. So he became so big, he saw that world, that earth, that little ball of earth, and saw all of it, his existence, the existence of the I thought, and it's the whole ego and its entire story about who it was, and what the childhood was like, what their parents are like, what their friends are like, what people think of them, how successful they are they attractive, are they not, what do they deserve, all of the illusion of ego, all of the things we think about ourselves that we imagine to be true, and that then define how we feel. He saw all of that. As an illusion, and it became so clear to him that it was an illusion that he was able to transcend it completely. His experience of his consciousness of that being an illusion, his consciousness of that became so great that it swallowed the illusion in its light. Kind of like a light will glow brighter and brighter until it outshines all darkness. Until it outshines all darkness. When you step into this space of consciousness, you become light in many ways. Because you are no longer defined by any physical, tangible objects. You're no longer caught up in this illusion of dense energy, reality, or physicality, and survival, and it's that crude existence. You are actually seeing the illusion of it, and there's light in that, and there's lightness in that, and there's freedom in that, and there's bliss in that. And you can do this on a global scale with with the core of your I thought and who you think you are, and all of the thoughts that come from that. You can go very direct like that, and very direct to the core. Or you can do it with just one thing. Let's say you have one issue that you're working on resolving. Well, you can look at that and look at it in its entirety and see it as an illusion. You can see it as an illusion born from the illusion of the I that's having it. And you can go from there. I feel that this was, that I was able to communicate this. I hope that you appreciate it. I hope that it helps you. I hope that it's positively life-changing for you. And I hope that if you have any frustrations with me about this video, or that you feel like, oh, that means this or that, that you question that resistance. Because this is meant I mean this information very well and with the best of intentions, and has been carefully considered, all of this information, and I do hope that it helps you so much.